As we can see right here, there's a ladder that someone's used to get up and over the fence. Just because the fences were built doesn't mean people don't get over it. People still, will cross right over the fence. Unfortunately, it's a lot more dangerous. There are, numerous cases of people dying from impact of falling. I mean, it's 30 feet from the top. They were built at 30 feet because at that height, you'll be disoriented on top, and that's what the government was hoping for. And so far, it's rang true for so many people who've lost their lives going up and over the fence. And for those that survived, are in bad shape, with permanent injuries and disabilities and everything like that. So we leave water, food, essential clothing to go along with the weather and the season. We leave first aid supplies. We know that it can be next to impossible for someone who's crossing and making this journey to be able to carry enough supplies to keep them from suffering and to keep them from dying.
So we are in South San Diego. This is as close as the secondary border wall as you can get. On just further away is a primary border wall. On the opposite side of that is Tijuana, Mexico. We set this solidarity station about a year and a half ago when Border Patrol was forcing migrants to wait here, oftentimes for multiple days at a time, without any food or water. So this is what I call the welcoming table. There is water here, there are snacks here. In between the border walls is known as the enforcement zone. And so it's where people have initial contact with Border Patrol agents who will direct them to come here, or on their own they might arrive here. And this is where they are waiting for them to be picked up, to be processed at a Border Patrol station elsewhere.
In 1971, they actually inaugurated Borderfield State Park, which is the area north of the second wall over there. But there was no wall, and so it came all the way to the border, and they wanted to call the area International Friendship Park. And so that was that, and there was nothing. It was just that kind of like a barbed wire all the way until the 80s or 90s. They put in a chain link fence. People continued to use it. A little annoying to have a chain link fence, but there was holes in it, and families would come and pass food through. And then in 2009, they actually put in a secondary wall. From there, the amount of access just decreased, and the walls got bigger and bigger. So all the money, all the power, all the policy goes into more and more enforcement. That's just the solution to everything. And it's an industry. All the money comes from building stuff. Just the whole idea that militarization is the answer. It should be a truly international park where people can connect, where families can be together, where people can send that message that cross-border connection and friendship is part of security. So a place without walls, a place where we have a garden that shows that the native plants, the native people, the native flora, the native fauna have been here for 12,000 years, and this border has only been here for 180 years.
Y tenemos videos de donde ellos están dialogando con ellos que por favor al menos nos mostraron una identificación que muestre de que sí son agentes de inmigración y tampoco, nunca nos quisieron mostrar una identificación, nada, simplemente decían que se llamaban Oscar. Pero nosotros le decíamos que nosotros no nos queríamos montar, que por favor nos mostraran primero algo y él dijo que él tenía tiempo aquí, se nos llevó todos los documentos. A nosotros se nos llevó nuestra cédula de identificación y de la niña se llevó la partida porque con nosotros viene una menor de edad. Entonces esa gente mala para hacer daño, para hacer o cumplir sus objetivos, se pueden disfrazar de lo que quieran. Pues nuestra segunda opción era un albergue, pero con esta situación que estamos viendo que primero los secuestran a ellos, en el camino nos robaron dinero, que ahora llegamos aquí, esta mañana casi nos pasa eso. ¿Quién nos da una seguridad que en un albergue no nos va a pasar lo mismo? O sea, literal estamos en una situación tan vulnerable y no tanto por nosotros, sino por esos menores de edad.
When border communities are militarized, when we see more military and a heavier enforcement footprint along the border communities, those who benefit are the cartels and organized crime groups because they know that it's a big business to charge people a lot of money to bring them into the United States. And what we'll see now is that these organized crime groups and criminal networks will likely make a lot of money from people who are in an extremely vulnerable situation, including small children. Cost of someone coming across depends on the country that they're coming from. If someone is traveling from Colombia, it won't cost them as much compared to someone who's traveling from China. And so the cost could be between $5,000 to $50,000.
Solicitud porque es como para tener un mejor vivir, ¿ya? Tener oportunidades de poder darle un mejor futuro a tus hijos y ser honesto y trabajar, echarle pichón a la vida. En avión porque nosotros con la cita nos permitieron viajar, pero ya sin cita, sin documentos, sin nada, no sabemos qué hacer, la verdad. Ya lo dejaron claro, nuestras citas han sido canceladas y igual la misma aplicación, tú te metes a la aplicación y ya no da opción de pedir cita ni de nada. O sea, todo el registro y todo lo eliminaron. Estamos esperando a ver qué pasa. Si no, pues reconsideramos la idea de devolvernos porque la verdad aquí no todos porque no voy a generalizar, pero hay muchos mexicanos que quieren que nos devolvamos porque estamos, como dijeron textualmente, estamos acá expropiándole, por decir así, invadiéndole su... En Venezuela no nos están dando salvoconducto ni nada, entonces no sabemos qué hacer, porque si te quieres devolver hay problemas, porque la embajada en Venezuela no están dando salvoconducto para que tú te devuelvas.
There's a far mountain in the distance that has like that steep slope to it. That's where we dropped out there, planting crosses. 3 sisters died in a freak snowstorm almost 5 years ago. Like, there's less people that die in California than other states, like Arizona's number 1, like Texas number 2. But a lot just go missing and unaccounted for, and so, you know, we've found remains before on drops. We've found bones, kids' bones, adult bones.
Our efforts, that's why we're out every week, is because we don't want anybody to die, you know. The last 8 years, like, the numbers of people dying have gone down, even though the numbers of people crossing have gone up. So, you know, I have full faith in what we do is working.
My name is Father Pat Murphy, and I'm director of the Casa de Migrante in Tijuana. But basically, the thing we try to do is take care of people, give them hospitality, food, shelter. When somebody arrives here, we usually find out who they are, what they want to do, and we can give them up to 45 days to stay here, to get a job and establish themselves. And sometimes people will leave and try to cross. Sometimes people will go rent an apartment and then just stay here and try to make a living for themselves. And so this is pretty much what we try to do to every single person. The House has beds for 140 people. Last night we had 80 people. Every president who comes into office thinks they're going to stop it, but it's just too ingrained in people to leave their homeland and look for a better life. So you can slow it down a bit, but you're never going to stop it completely. And also the needs of the United States calls for immigration. Who's going to, for example, all the fires in Los Angeles, who's going to clean up all those fires? Who's going to do the construction? It's mostly migrants, and a lot of them will be undocumented. So sometimes the United States likes to play a game. We don't want any undocumented people, but we still want our lettuce and tomatoes to be cheap.
Mira, desde que salimos de Venezuela, o sea, no ha sido nada fácil. Nada fácil porque principalmente pasando la selva del Darién se ven muchas cosas, es algo duro, alguna experiencia que a ninguna persona que quiera pasar la selva se la recomiendo. Es algo sumamente peligroso, traumático, psicológicamente te afecta mucho. Porque la cantidad de muertos que ves y la cantidad de personas que se quedan, que o sea, piensan en emprender el viaje y una vez que lo emprenden quedan ahí. O sea, es difícil y doloroso, inhumano, ver a alguien y tú quererlo ayudar y no poderlo porque vas, o sea, vas con tu familia, vas con tus seres amados o quizás solo y es esa persona o eres tú. O sea, a tal punto tan drástico que es o es ayudar a esa persona o es llegar tú a la meta, digamos así. Después de la selva del Darién fue también un poco fuerte con respecto a las bandas de los diferentes países, los inoportunos de estar como migrante, ¿no? en suelo ajeno, o sea, como lo es ahora acá en el Estado de México, ¿no? Pero en otros lugares ha sido también difícil porque las bandas, el tráfico de humanos, o sea, es todo una travesía. Estoy tranquilo, pero a su vez un poco angustiado, ¿no? Porque la incertidumbre de qué pasará mañana o qué iremos a hacer con mi familia es grande, ¿no? Como lo dijo el presidente electo Donald Trump, que todas las personas que pasen ilegalmente serán deportadas inmediatamente, o sea, en su facto sería eso. Entonces creo que sería derrochar o tirar todo por la borda cuando fue muy difícil llegar hasta acá.
Soy de Honduras. Yo llegué cuando estaban dejando pasar las personas cuando venías como a pedir asilo político y que traías un menor de edad a este país. Llevaba un proceso legal, todavía lo tengo, pero eso pasó hace como 10 años, tengo 10 años de estar acá. Cuando Donald Trump ganó por primera vez, yo ya estaba aquí, entonces mi proceso legal paró y es como que los abogados me dijeron, ¿sabes qué? No sigamos ahorita, pero me dieron como una orden donde si algo llegara a pasar, alguien me llega a parar, por ejemplo migración, es como que enseñas esa hoja y ellos se tienen que comunicar con tu abogado. Así estoy ahorita, realmente no sé qué vaya a pasar, pero así estamos. No siento miedo, sé como que tengo los pies como bien puestos y digo yo, ok, no somos de este país. Si algo llega a pasar, digo yo, estoy como bien preparada. Si me toca irme, pues me voy, no hay de otra. Estoy como que no soy de este país y listo. Mira que casi no soy de andar pues en ningún lugar. O sea, no paso de mi casa, gimnasio, trabajo. Entonces es como que no he cambiado nada de eso, pero pongámosle que si me dicen, vamos a Los Ángeles, ya la voy a como que pensar un poquito. Ya mejor es como que no, mejor no, si no hay tanta necesidad. Pues de lo demás, pues te digo, es la misma rutina que llevo ahorita, la que he tenido, pero sí, pues no salgo, casi no salgo de San Diego, la verdad.
So my mom is actually not a U.S. citizen. She does have an active and current green card. However, it's always been on her mind about something like, what if something were to happen? She ultimately, if she were to disobey or break any laws, she would be a candidate for immediate deportation. That is pretty scary. I know a lot.
Okay, I became a coyote years and years ago, you know, to help the individuals to get to LA, because they were paying me very well to smuggle the illegals. I was getting paid to drive them past the checkpoint in San Onofre, you know, and that's where I've been to prison for it a few times. But I'll never forget the feeling when I get across a successful run and I'd open the trunk and let these people out for freedom to a new way of life. The look in their eyes was one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced in my life. And these are good people. They're good people. They wanted to come up here just because they want a better way of life, to help their family, their children, their grandparents, to help everybody. They're the most family-oriented people that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing in my whole life.